Financial standings is the number one cause of women wanting an abortion. Women statistically make more money than men, resulting in less financial resources. It was reported in 2012 by the U.S. Census Bureau that 5 million more women than men were poor. They are also up to 4 times more likely to be living in poverty when requesting an abortion before having the child and its financial responsibilities. Krista Pavarani, who was denied an abortion, shares how difficult it was for her when she had her son. We were barely able to scrape by at that point, and there was just not enough money, Paravani said. My life outside of being a mother has just been exponentially harder and almost impossible. The Supreme Court's ruling in the 1973 case, Roe v. Wade, legalized abortion. This meant that if a woman was seeking an abortion, she could not be denied one. In 2022, the Supreme Court overruled this decision in a 4-3 ruling in the Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization case, meaning that the right to choose was not protected by the Constitution. Their reasoning was that the Constitution does not mention abortion. It is now up to state governments to decide if abortion should be legal for its citizens, and since this ruling, 18 states have banned or severely restricted abortion. When having limitations or bans to abortions, the U.S. economy is hurt because of how it impacts women's careers. Women may need to take time off from their jobs or work less hours in order to spend more time with their children due to a lack of childcare or support. For many years, children are unable to take care of themselves, so women will have to make sacrifices if they have no additional support. This will result in the mother having less financial resources, causing a correlation between a lack of abortion and poverty. Women that are denied abortions are more likely to need financial assistance from the government, which means the government has to use more financial resources on individuals. If abortion was legalized, there would be less people in need of direct financial assistance from the government, saving them money that can be used towards other programs or initiatives. The government should be using their financial resources on inequalities they cannot control, and with abortion rights, there are steps that can be taken to improve the poverty rates. There's not enough support from the government and institutions that are forcing mothers to have their child. Mothers may not have an existing support system, either from their spouse, family members, or close friends, to be able to balance a newborn and a job. Additionally, they may have other children that need her financial and emotional resources. Children need a significant amount of resources from their parent, and having more children means each child gets less resources. A mother needs to be financially supporting their child, and while they are at work, their child needs someone to take care of them. This is increasingly difficult without the support from others. There are limited childcare resources, and considering the increase in children due to the limitations in abortions, this is even smaller. The mothers that are forced to have their children are sometimes the ones that need childcare the most, causing a bigger inequality issue. Additionally, preschools can be expensive, especially since preschools are not covered by taxes. This means that children may not have formal social interactions until kindergarten and could be miles behind their peers. A considerable amount of development is done in the early stages, where it is crucial that parents are able to support their children both emotionally and financially. If mothers cannot afford childcare, they may not be ready to financially support their child at all. Additionally, those that are unable to get an abortion are more likely to fall into poverty or further into poverty because they had a child. Even if they were financially secure, this could have changed with adding a dependent. They may not be able to pay for their basic necessities, such as food, clothing, shelter, and utilities, for both themselves and their child. Because they were denied an abortion, many women are unable to continue to attend school or further in their careers, also causing an economic gap. When Roe v. Wade was enacted, women were able to continue their education and be hired for their desired job. This increased household earnings as well as how many people were in the workforce. This increase in women in careers since the 1970s can be attributed to Roe v. Wade. Women should be able to decide how they use their earnings and if and when they want to bring a child into their life. Most people do not want to have a child when they are not set up to take care of them. By bringing a child into the world when one is not able to support them is not respecting their dignity. There are many reasons a woman may be seeking an abortion due to financial reasons. If a teenager gets pregnant, she is still in school and does not have her own way of income. Families may not be able to support another dependent or even want their child to become a mother at such a young age. If one is pregnant in their 20s, they could have just graduated from school, earning a degree to increase their chance of financial security in the future. They may not want to have a child when they are focusing on launching their career and setting up for financial success. Mothers may also have already other may also already have other children and feel that they cannot adequately provide for another child without making sacrifices. Children are expensive, and it is important as a parent to be able to provide for the children they already have before thinking about bringing in a new dependent and financial burden into their lives. With these new laws, it is up to each state to decide how abortion is legalized for their citizens. Some states ban abortion completely, while others only have a few limitations. The states that ban abortions are run by politicians that are pro-life. This means that they believe that if a pregnancy is terminated, they are killing an innocent human. Once there is an embryo or fetus, there is a person who has the right to live and should not be killed unnecessarily. When looking at the states with the strictest abortion laws, they are also the states that are impacted the most by poverty. This means that if they can afford it, they may try to move into states with less restrictions. If richer people can move or even travel across state lines to receive more reproductive care, the decision makers are putting people who are already financially suffering at risk for additional consequences. By putting those at an additional risk is not putting the children first and respecting the citizens first and respecting their dignity. If one is forced to have a child, there needs to be a significant increase in the support for mothers and families, both financially and systematically. In order to address poverty and abortion more effectively, abortion rights should be rethought in terms of what is best for the greater good of society and not politics. This may take time and passionate politicians and Supreme Court justices to make this happen. All of this was changed and affected by who is in leadership. So if we care about poverty, we care about abortion rights, and we should vote for politicians who will support the legalization and access of abortion. Until then, there are acts that I would recommend to alleviate the stress of poverty, especially in states where abortions are completely banned. If women are forced to have these children, these are necessary to decrease the percentage of women and children affected by poverty. Maternity leave should be mandated for all jobs and careers so women can have time with their newborn after giving birth. There is a lot of care that is necessary to the baby after giving birth, and mothers need to be there for their child. There is much development that happens at a young age, and establishing a strong connection from birth will be beneficial to the child. This can even affect their likelihood of experiencing poverty later on in life. Because of this, the U.S. Department of Labor has mandated that the Family and Medical Leave Act to give women 12 weeks of unpaid time off, but they will be able to resume their job immediately after and continue to receive health benefits as they would if they were working. This currently only applies to some jobs, so I believe that this should be expanded to all jobs. I also believe that there should be some financial supplementation, and this can be from the government. Considering they made these laws regarding abortion, it is only right. This should especially be the case for those that were denied the abortion. Preschool and child care should be more accessible and affordable for all, and these programs need to be heavily supported. This will allow mothers to work more hours, earning more money for their family. Even with these programs, I also think there should be protection for women who want an abortion. They should be able to receive funds to travel to another state in order to get a safe abortion. Although financial reasons play a huge role in why one may not want an abortion, there are certainly other factors to it, and it is important to respect a woman's decision on how she wants to live her life. With programs like these supported, poverty resulting from abortion will be resolved. I don't believe that these solve all of the problems regarding abortion laws, but I do believe it solves the most important parts of them. If abortion is illegal in some states, there needs to be resources to ensure each individual can live a life where their dignity is respected. When thinking about the concept of contractualism, it is important to recognize what decision would minimize the burden of the most people. Allowing for abortions is not going to affect someone else's life or increase their own burdens. It would only increase the burden of the woman who is pregnant and, in some cases, their loved ones. Because this burden is so personal, contractualists would not agree with it. Personally, I believe in being pro-life, but my definition varies from what is seen today. I think that pro-life means that each individual should have the freedom to decide how they want to live their life. I also think contractualists would agree with this because they understand that you can give advice and guidance, but it is up to each individual person to make their own decisions.